Hello, bellicon family. I am Faith. I am so excited, like beyond excited today to have on Dr. Cerra with us from Southern California. So just a quick intro and bio before I let her take the stage. So Dr. Cerra is a licensed naturopathic medical doctor from Southern California. She is dedicated to helping women reclaim their reproductive health. What I love about her is her approach is holistic, patient-centered. She uses a combination of natural therapies, lifestyle modifications, and conventional medicine to support patients in our community. So I love that you are empowering women to make choices about their health. Like that's what I want to kind of focus in on today. So I have questions, but do you want to say anything else in your intro? I will give the stage to you for a second.
Oh, thank you. No, just that, yeah, I have a private practice here in Southern California, but I do work with people all across the country virtually, and really getting to the root cause of any hormone conditions, specifically in the reproductive health space. So, like fertility, endometriosis, PCOS, postpartum care, pregnancy care, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. We need so much more of this conversation out there. So that's why I'm so happy to have you today. We have so many people in our bellicon community just write in and call in when they're like trying to figure out. I think there's kind of a gap sometimes between the communities about rebounding. Like it's not out there as much, and so we want to educate. We want to share, and there's sort of this gap with education about what a lot of the practitioners I think understand about rebounding. So what I would love to start with is just how did you learn about rebounding and like
Mhm.
come into your viewpoint from a medical perspective?
Yeah. So it was first brought to my attention maybe 4 years ago. I was a year into my clinical practice, and in San Diego, I do see a lot of mold toxicity.
Mhm.
So people who are sick, whether that's from allergy problems, anxiety, hormone concerns, weight gain, you name it, the mold toxicity can cause a slew of symptoms. And so when I'm giving treatment plans to patients, I'm breaking it down by supplements and nutrition and lifestyle. And when I was researching lifestyle practices for detoxing from mold toxicity, that's when I first discovered rebounding. So a big part of my treatment plans for patients does involve doing things like rebounding or dry skin brushing or using the sauna, and pairing those three things together can be really powerful. So that's when it was first brought into my wheelhouse and something that's in my recommendations for patients.
That's amazing. I feel like a lot of people come to us and they're like, "Can we do this? Is it something we can do?" And so, what do you kind of share with your patients in terms of the why, like maybe some of the benefits for them, and then where do you tell them to start?
Yeah, yeah. So from a benefit standpoint, if we're talking about detox support, it's so important for your lymph, which is what's going to be a priority for helping mobilize toxins, whether it's mold toxins, plastics, BPA's, phthalates, anything. Your lymph is crucial for clearing out like cell waste or like excess estrogen or high mold levels. So we'll start with getting a rebounder.
Good
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
I like it.
Um, and even if someone doesn't have high levels of mold in their body, there's so many other benefits to rebounding in the realm of like supporting your gut health, supporting your bones, your cardiovascular system, your joints. It's a great cardio workout. And especially from a mental health perspective, I tell patients who are struggling with anxiety or depression, I'm like, I promise you, you can't be depressed and rebounding at the same time.
I love that. I know it's impossible not to smile like even a little bit when you're on it. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. So two of the benefits that I'm kind of interested in on honing into today, just because I haven't talked about them as much with people, are rebounding and gut health. Um,
Yeah.
gut health is like a big passion of yours and topic, and it's starting to become more of the regular conversation. I feel like in our world, but still not as much as it should be. But how do you? What would you say in terms of rebounding to support gut health and digestion and that whole system in the body?
Yeah. Yeah. And gut health comes up a lot in my practice because at the root of problems, whether it's I'm not getting a menstrual cycle or I'm not ovulating or I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, we'll see a lot of that occur because maybe you're not having bowel movements or you're not absorbing your nutrients or there's just so much stress happening in the GI system that your body's not able to give excess energy to your reproductive organs. But what what I know from a rebounding standpoint, there's a couple things that it does. The first thing that it does is it helps stimulate peristalsis, which is like that gut motility. That there's this thing called your migrating motor complex, which is the nerve innervations to your stomach and your intestines to help bowel movements happen regularly. When you're rebounding, you're creating this like rhythmic compression and decompression in your abdomen that acts as almost like a gentle massage for your abdominal tract. And so these wave muscle like contractions can help with bloating, they can help with constipation, they can help you like not be in that state where you're not having a bowel movement every single day. Something else that it's really supportive with is strengthening your vagal tone, which is that communication between the main nerve in your brain that goes onto your gut, which is your vagus nerve. And so it helps strengthen that access. So the communication that's happening between your brain and your gut. And then another thing that it does is it's going to be improving your gut lymph connection. So about 70% of our lymphatic system is around our gastrointestinal tract. And so a lot of people who have inflammatory disease in their gut, or if they have parasites or yeast or bacteria, that is affecting their lymphatic tissue. And if we can improve them having bowel movements every day and help clear out infections with the use of herbs alongside of it, that's another great thing as like a like ripple effect that rebounding can have.
That's amazing. I did not know this. Like you just taught me a lot. That's
Yeah.
so, I mean, it makes sense. It absolutely all makes sense. Do you this is a surprise question I didn't tell you about in advance, and we can get into it more with our final topic, but do you have anything to say, because we get this so much, like I'm afraid to rebound because of my pelvic floor, and we try to teach how it's actually great for pelvic floor health,
Yeah.
but any comments?
Yeah. No, I would agree. I would say that it is great for pelvic floor health because a lot of it is helping with even just breath work and making that mind to muscle connection of your breathing patterns and contracting or releasing certain muscles. So, yeah, I would say that it's amazing for pelvic floor health.
Yeah, I've felt a huge difference, and also in connection to what you've shared, like with just bowel movements in the gut, and that is also related to the pelvic floor and relaxation of the jaw. So, and the nerve connection, like that's huge. So,
Yeah.
my final thing to pick your brain on, which this is a topic we have literally not discussed at all at bellicon, but it's
Okay.
coming up, which is, and it's like taboo for some silly reason, but it shouldn't be, which is what exercises to do on the rebounder at different phases of our menstrual cycle. So, like, how we can change our approach to rebounding to kind of hone into those different times of the month, and create a bounce with our flow, if you will, or without our
Yeah.
flow.
Yeah. So, unlike men who have every single day a very stable and consistent level of testosterone that's being sent out for the next 24 hours of their cycle, us women, we are going through changes of hormones every single day throughout anywhere from a 26 to a 32-day cycle. So, yeah, I mean, if you're anyone who's paying attention to your menstrual cycle, you can see that there's some days where you're really motivated and excited and you feel like you could go run a couple of miles. And then there's some days where you're like, I think I'd rather just sit on my couch. So it's really important that you adjust and modify your activity level based on where are your hormones and what are they trying to do to help serve you during that time of the month. So the common part of our cycle that everybody's aware of is our menstrual days where you're actively bleeding. And this is a really important time to support very gentle movement and also support some slight drainage pathways and detox pathways. Because at this part of your cycle, your estrogen and progesterone are at their very lowest. And estrogen and testosterone are the hormones that are going to spike when we're ovulating that help give us this like really high motivating energy level. So from a rebounding standpoint, I would recommend just like really slow, light bounces. You can even like keep your feet on the trampoline and not let them leave it. And focus a lot on the diaphragmatic breathing and maybe even pull in some slight meditation practice in with it at the end. But yeah, more of the lower impact, gentle movement, stretching, that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it makes sense. It's just like hearing that from you gives me permission to listen to my body. And it's kind of like, it's screwed up that I have to have that permission, but it's so also refreshing, and like that it's talked about, because I think we just teach women now, just, put a tampon in and keep going, run the
I
marathon,
know.
ignore everything. And
Yeah.
counterintuitive. And so just hearing that come from you is like, it's so validating, and it's like, oh, well, this makes sense, like it's logical.
Yeah.
So okay, so that makes sense. So obviously, so we take it down, and then during, in between that and ovulation, like, is there any differences that you would have on the whole other part of the cycle, or would you like any other?
Yeah. So after your menstrual cycle ends, so you're no longer bleeding, you're entering what's considered your follicular phase, which is that time in between you just finished your period and you're gearing up, getting ready for ovulation to happen. Most women, this is happening like days 6 through 12 or 13 of your cycle. And at this point, estrogen levels are rising to get to their peak, and so are testosterone levels. So you have higher levels of recovery. You have more endurance. You also have just more quick energy to tap into. So during this time, from a rebounding standpoint, I would recommend more of the moderate to intense bouncing, more of the like dance inspired circuits, maybe some cardio, maybe you're adding in some light hand weights into things towards the end. But yeah, this is where things are ramping up and you could feel more inspired or motivated to try out something new.
Amazing. Oh, I love that idea. Try out something
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then when you're ovulating, which again, this can change for any woman, but on average, days like 13 to 16, this is when we're at our peak energy level standpoint. It's the time that you're more prone and ready to challenge yourself. So I would recommend more of the like really high intensity, jump squats, twisting motions, cardio motions, maybe a lot more quicker breath work. Whereas compared with the menstrual cycle, you're doing more diaphragmatic slow breathing. And this one you can be like, the sounds women make when they're in like labor sometimes, like really quick,
Yeah,
quick breath. And even you're more able to do longer versions of classes too. So think more of the higher intensity stuff. And then after ovulation is complete and you're entering more of your luteal phase, which can be anywhere from 8 to 12 days before your period's going to start again, you want to focus on slowing down. And because there's so much energy that's being used to help get your uterine lining ready to be shed. So going back to some of the shorter sessions, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, maybe focusing more on flowing movements, core engagement, more of the moderate to light bouncing, and definitely pulling in some stretches or yin practices as well.
amazing. I love this idea of just looking at things in like this sort of 30-day period, rather than like, I have to get this exact thing in every day in order to get my workout in, but kind of just connecting to nature, connecting to your body, and then listening to it. And I feel like it really helps us have that mind body connection that we're sort of just needing to tune in to our needs. So I
Yeah.
love this so much. I'm like
Yeah.
very inspired to rethink my workouts actually. So thank I
Yeah,
am.
of course.
It's really inspiring, because I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to just say we got to get 30 minutes in per day no matter what, and it's like, well, let's just like, where are you at today, let's see, and so it's really beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Sarah. Is there anything to add? Like, we would love to, any if our community has questions, like, where can they find you you know
Yeah, my Instagram is the mindful doctor, a period in between each one. So the dot mindful dot doctor, or if you just were just to search my name, Cerra Kelly, I pop up pretty easily on Instagram and TikTok as well. But Instagram is where I share the most about, all health facts, reproductive health support. And then my clinical practice here in La Jolla and San Diego is called Wind and Sea Wellness, but I can share that link. It's a little bit of a longer one and harder one
we'll put it
to,
on for everybody.
yeah.
If you are in that area of the country, you can go find Dr. Sarah there. So thank you so much. This was like really valuable information for our community, and I just appreciate your approach and everything that you do. So thank you. I love this conversation, and I will link to everything so you all can find her. All
Thank
right,
you.
Bellicon fam, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.